What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another Star Wars Hot Toys figure unboxing and review video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Imperial Praetorian Guard from the series The Mandalorian Season 3. This is a figure that I am very excited for, believe it or not, guys, because of the color schemes and because of the presence of the character. This is a figure that I am really looking forward to unboxing and seeing how he looks out of the box. Just an FYI, I did get mine from Sideshow Collectibles, and I will definitely include the link to their site on the description of the video in case you guys want to go ahead and grab them. Obviously, this figure itself, it's technically supposed to be 3 Praetorian guards. I've only gotten one for right now. We'll see in the future if I do get more, but for now, very excited to go ahead and get this one for now. So let's go ahead and get started with the review. Get into the design of the box. So pretty much as always, we get the same box design that we always do for every single Star Wars figure, with pretty much a black background. We do get an image of the figure right there at the top. We get a Star Wars logo in this metallic kind of black coloring in the middle, and then we do get this banner wraparound that goes around the box. Pretty much the coloring is blue and yellow. The blue part is kind of the background of Mandalore, and then we of course get the Praetorian Guard right there on the right side of the banner. On the left side, right side, we get the name of the figure at the very bottom. We continue with that banner right there in that blue and yellow coloring, and pretty much that black background to continue with the box. On the back side, pretty much just warning illegal information by Hot Toys, along with the name of the figure at the top. One thing that I did want to mention is that I am starting to love this banner that Hot Toys is including with the figures. Obviously, the box design has to be the same, I believe, by Lucasfilm demands, but at least this banner is given more creativity, and it kind of gives this more elusiveness to the box design. So I am a big fan of it, especially since the color schemes are completely different compared to the box. So yellow and blue compared to black, you know, definitely totally different. So that makes the box design to me a little bit better for sure. So I would say off to a good start with the box design. No surprises, everything looks good so far. Now, this is another thing that Hot Toys has started to do with these figures. They're starting to do this kind of banner that is at the top of the plastic cover of the figure, and pretty much right here on this on this wallpaper, we get an image of all 3 Praetorian guards, and in that background right there in front of them, kind of in a blurry type of texture, we get Paz Vizsla. So obviously, for those of you guys who have seen the series, we get a fight scene between all these 4 characters. So I am very glad that they decided to do this for the wallpaper for the figure itself. It looks great. All 3 Praetorian guards, you guys can see they have royalty all over them, so they look really good. As far as Paz Vizsla, I hope in the future to collect them as a figure along with more figures from the Mandalorian. But I would say for the Praetorian Guard to be my first figure, I am definitely not disappointed in that. As you guys can see now, we have the plastic cover box, I would say, so that way we can go ahead and get the figure for the first time. First impressions on the guy. Honestly, he looks great. He looks really good. I am loving the color scheme on this guy. He looks absolutely amazing, really bright, and I can tell this guy is going to pop out on my collection. So very glad with what I'm seeing so far. Definitely off to a fantastic start. So now that we've unboxed the figure on its own, we're definitely going to take a look at the accessories coming up. We'll do the figure in detail, pretty much review, you know, articulations and things like that. Unfortunately, no side-by-side comparisons for this video, and I will explain a little bit later on as to why I'm doing that. But of course, to end the video, we'll do poses and final thoughts. Okay, starting off with the accessories. So we don't get a lot of things with the guy, but at least we do get 3 weapons. Now, remind me if I'm not mistaken, guys, I believe each Praetorian Guard has one of these individual weapons with them. We start off with the display base. So once again, we get the same display base as we always get for these Star Wars figures, with the nameplate for the figure itself. We get pretty much this kind of gray type of flooring on it, and then of course we get an adjustable crotch grabber for the figure itself. This is kind of one of my regrets of buying Star Wars figures, is that we get the same display base pretty much all the time, so there's no variety when it comes to posing the figure. So that is always to me a disappointment. I wish they would do, or at least Hot Toys would be allowed to do, more variety when it comes to display bases. We do get this pretty much a heavy blade. That's what the way Sideshow described it for this figure. Pretty much there's kind of like a glowing type of effect on the purple part of it. It is pretty much made out of plastic. Unfortunately, this blade does not turn on in any way, but it does look pretty good. I love how translucent that coloring is to the purple part of the blade, to at least make it seem like it's somewhat turned on. We do get also this other blade that looks very similar to the other one. This one's kind of more like a position of curved up, I would say, pretty much. And also the difference is that we're able to pretty much split this blade into two pieces, so to make it two different blades. Pretty much it comes with that part that goes inserted inside that hole right there to connect the blade, but we get these two pieces right here that I'm picking up right now. So this is pretty much kind of like a closing type of tab, so that way the blade itself looks complete once it's split away from its other part, and that way it actually looks like two separate blades itself. So pretty much I would say it is completely up to you guys how you guys want to go ahead and pose that blade, but I would say that I'm glad that we get this weapon again, just to get more options when it comes to posing the guy. I love the color applications. Again, they're all made out of plastic, and to me, again, just gives us options to pose the figure, as I mentioned before. The last thing is that we do get this energy sword. Now, Sideshow said that it came with some wiring. Honestly, guys, I am not taking any chances with this. I could tell that as soon as I bent it, it's gonna break in some way or form. So in no way, shape, or form am I gonna take chances on it. Just know that it looks really good. I would recommend you guys to just keep it straightforward and find a way to pose the figure with this thing, but do not try to bend this. I can tell right away it's gonna break if we do try to bend it. And then we do get 6 different pieces of hands. So these two right here are to hold on to those 3 different blades. The gloves itself have a lot of texture. The texture reminds me of that suit that we're about to get for the new Batman for 1989. There's a lot of texture on that glove. I love the fact that it has stretch marks to show motion with the hands, and on the other side we get this red coloring to continue with that armor that the figure has itself. So that red kind of coloring does look pretty much like, you know, type of leather, type of pleather, type of, not material, but more so the look of it, right? But it is all made out of plastic. So again, those 2 hands would be just to have those blades being held on to. These other 2 hands are pretty much kind of mostly open, but those fingers on the you know, the index finger and things like that, those are way open, as well as the thumb. The other fingers are kind of closing in. I would just say that those are to show different motions for the character, to kind of show him fighting, or you know, however you guys want to go ahead and come up with poses with the hands, but just know that it does come with those 2. And then these 2 are the ones that came with the figure, so pretty much they are kind of like an open palm type of relaxed positioning with these display of hands. They look pretty good, as I mentioned before, and there's a lot of texture with these hands, so no issues with that at all. I am surprised that we didn't get any close fists for the figure itself, but I don't think it's something that is really going to ruin the figure for me. I think with the hands that we have itself, I think we're perfectly fine. We're able to pretty much work with the figure. So that's pretty much it. That's all the accessories that we get. I really can't think of anything else that the figure kind of come up with. So for now, we're off to a good start. I like what we have so far. Getting to the figure now. So guys, the more I look at this figure, the more impressed I am with it. Again, as I mentioned whenever I unboxed it for the first time, the detailing on the paint applications for the figure is just absolutely amazing. The color schemes are so bright. It looks absolutely awesome. And again, I just know for a fact it's gonna pop out of the collection so nicely. So just know that pretty much the armor pieces are pretty much made out of plastic, and again, the paint applications are very glossy and bright. So we're talking about the shoulder pads, the chest pieces, the gauntlets on the wrist, the boots right here, as you guys can see, and the leg kind of braces, if we can call it that way, as well as the helmet itself, right? All of those pieces are pretty much the same color applications. Same thing for the back, kind of the back armor, same thing. All the coloring is just pretty much nicely done. It is so bright, and I would say it looks like as it is in the series, right? When I think about that the fight scene against Paz Vizsla, right? I was able to tell pretty nicely with the color schemes, and it's pretty much, I would say, the same. So this undersuit itself is pretty much made out of fabric. The color, I would say, is kind of like a burgundy type of color, and that's the way Sideshow Collectibles described it. So it does look pretty nice, and again, it looks exactly as it is in the series, and it reminds me of the Troopers, right? Because obviously they also have an undersuit themselves. These pretty much, I would say, are kind of like skirt pieces. I wouldn't call it it a cape or a tunic, I would say more like skirt pieces. The fabric is very, very soft. It reminds me of the cloth that I used to clean my glasses. It's very soft, right? And the good thing is that you guys can use it to kind of clean off fingerprints that you guys can leave on the armor. Because the armor is so bright, I would say that once you touch it, it might dirty it up a little bit. So these pieces can be pretty much used to clean those fingerprints off. And again, the fabric is nicely made, and I love the color texture as well compared to the armor itself. Again, you can tell it's 3 different types of texture on the whole clothing for the figure itself. As I mentioned before, the shoes are also bright, but they're made of a different material, so I would say kind of like this hard plastic. I don't see pleather, and I don't see any type of other material. I think they're pretty much made out of plastic, right? At the bottom, pretty much just kind of like a plain surface colored black. So one thing that I can tell you guys is that there's no pleather whatsoever with this figure, and I am very excited to say that, because we always get pleather when it comes to these Hot Toys figures. So finally they have decided not to do it for this figure, and that's what makes it even better for me as a figure. It just looks absolutely awesome. So as I mentioned before, just 3 different pieces of fabric. So we get the soft fabric for the skirt pieces, the burgundy undersuit underneath the whole armor, and of course the armor itself, which is made out of plastic. So all 3 pieces combined look absolutely awesome. That helmet itself looks absolutely great as well. The black lines where the eyes are supposed to be there, they look exactly the same, so they look really, really good. I did want to go ahead and touch on articulations for the guys. So with the boots themselves, because of that piece of armor right there on the ankle, it really doesn't allow me to pretty much flip the foot completely, but it is connected via a ball joint on the ankle. So if I wanted to, I could pretty much flip over the whole shoe all around, but again, that armor on the ankle won't allow me to, which I'm totally fine. I mean, do I really need to flip the whole shoe to pose the figure? I don't think so. The shoe does go all the way to the top until there. The legs themselves, they do pretty much stretch to the side all the way till there. To the front, they go all the way till, I would say, pretty much there, right? Which is, I think, pretty much good enough for the figure. And then the knees do bend to the front until there. And if you guys want to take a look into the back, they would pretty much bend all the way till there. So not as much articulations as other figures, but I think it's good enough for us to be able to pose the figure. Now, where there's no articulation at all is in the mid part of the figure. So as you guys can see, it barely flips and turns to the right, and as well as the front. It really doesn't move a lot. Again, is it needed? I don't think so, right? I think with this figure, because of the way that it's supposed to stand and the presence that it has, I really don't think it needs a lot of motion in that mid part area. This is those type of characters that they always stand straight. The hands, they do go all the way to the top till there. I think the armor might limit those on the arm movement a little bit, so just know that it goes all the way till there. To the front, it goes all the way till there. Not a lot, but the elbows do pretty much bend pretty nicely, so that is a good thing. And then to the back, and well, as you guys can see, my hand just fell out, my apologies. To the back, it goes all the way till there. So as you guys can see, the arms aren't too articulated, not too flexible, so we'll have some issues probably posing the figure. But we'll see how that looks once I actually get to the posing part a little bit later on. Now, this is just becoming a disaster. The other piece of the wrist armor fell out, so I'm sorry about that, guys. I'll put it back together a little bit later on. The helmet itself is connected also via a ball joint, so it pretty much flips any way you want to, and it does go all the way to the bottom till there and to the top, as you guys were able to see there. So articulations aren't the greatest for the guy, but I think they're good enough for me to be able to pose them. We'll see once I get to the posing part to see if I had any struggles with the figure, but for sure this guy looks absolutely awesome. All of the fabric and all of the armor look great. The red just looks so nicely done, and no issues with the figure in my personal opinion. And we get to the posing and final thoughts for the figure. So as you guys were able to see, I did not do any side-by-side comparisons, and trust me guys, I don't like the fact that I didn't do comparisons, but I do, whenever I do comparisons, I want to make them I don't want to force a comparison, right? I don't want to just bring a random Star Wars character and just make it seem like it's a valid comparison. This is my first ever figure from the Mandalorian, so I don't have another figure that's comparable to this guy, so I didn't want to force any comparisons. I hope you guys understand. I definitely want to expand my Mandalorian collection in the near future. I'll keep you guys posted on that. And for the first time, I might think about getting maybe an additional or maybe 2 additional Praetorian guards. Why? Because again, it's supposed to be 3 of them in total, right? So I got 1. Hopefully I'll get 2 more, so that way we complete the whole collection for the Praetorian guards. The more I saw this figure, the more I fell in love with it. This is an amazing figure, and I cannot believe I'm saying this. This is one of my favorite Star Wars figures I have ever received. No question about it. This guy is gonna pop in the collection once I put it in my display cases. Every time I look there, again, that red shiny color of the armor is gonna pretty much pop out in my eyes, and that's probably the first thing that I'm gonna look at whenever I look at my Star Wars collection. So this guy is just an awesome figure. The fact that there's no pleather either makes it even better. Probably the only negative thing you guys could say about it is that the importance of the character. This guy, you know, is not one of those legendary characters for Star Wars, but on its own, it is an amazing figure for sure. It reminds me a lot of the Senate guards that are next to Palpatine, those 2 guards that are next to Palpatine in the original trilogy, right? I think the design of the suit is pretty much very similar. So to end the video, guys, as always, want to thank you for supporting me. We have finally reached 1,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support that you guys provide on a daily basis. Thank you so much for helping me reach this first goal of many. Know that my next video coming up, it is a very special one, so please tune in. I have a couple of announcements that I have to make, so be on the lookout, because I am sure that you guys will be excited about it. But again, thank you so much for helping me reach that goal of 1,000 subscribers. If it is the first time that you're watching me as well, feel free to subscribe as well and hit the notifications bell so that we are always updated anytime that I drop any videos for Hot Toys unboxings or figure previews for new figures as well. A reminder that I am on Instagram and TikTok as well. The links to that are on the description of the video. Feel free to follow me so that we are updated anytime that I drop a video, a image of a figure or updates on my channel. So for now, this is going to be it for this Imperial Praetorian Guard unboxing and review from the Mandalorian. Thank you once again, guys, for tuning in, and I will see you next time.